Over 43 million people in 2021 left their jobs to start their own business. So if you're considering starting your own business or you just started your own business, this is a show to pay attention to. So stick around. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Small Business Saturday Shoutout. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and today's show is all about business. So if you are interested in starting a business, looking to start, or you just started a business, we're talking about franchising today and sales. So two important topics for business owners. But before we get into that, I want to welcome all of you who are joining us, especially today, this evening. If you are on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitch, welcome, welcome, welcome. I do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So if you're watching over on YouTube and you haven't yet subscribed, I don't know why, but go ahead and subscribe to our channel. It is youtube.com/C/Alicia Couri. And we have so much content over there. Not just these shows, Small Business Saturday Shout Out, where you can learn about other businesses and the services that you can get, but also we have multiple shows on that channel, including Love My Body, Love Myself, and our podcast is also on our YouTube channel, which is Leading with Audacious Confidence. And we have so much other really great, cool content over there for you to learn and explore and engage and really amplify yourself. So, because my motto is to influence, educate, inspire, and entertain you. So go on over to our YouTube channel. So today is Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And what makes this show so special is that, yes, we kind of highlight and spotlight small business owners, but we also have a community over on Facebook that we would love for you to join. So if you would like to come on over to our Facebook community and join us, it's free to join. It's facebook.com/groups/SBSSO. So be a part of that community. So you can spread the word about how cool your business is. You can also promote things that you have going on, especially if you have a B2B business. You can promote in that group. And we have networking events. We have one coming up on the 29th of this month. We have our quarterly networking event, which will be at 6 p.m. Coming up this month. And we usually have on the first and third Saturdays of the month is our SBSSO. But because I was planning to be out of the country next Saturday, we pushed it up to this week. So we have our show this week instead of next week, but it's usually the first and third Saturdays of the month. And this show is really about you. And so there are 3 ways that you can get a shout out on this show. So the first way is to leave a comment. That's the simplest way, is if you're watching live, even if you're watching the replay, just leave us a comment. But if you're watching live, I can shout you out during the show. So you put your name, your business, and if you want to put your website or how people can get in touch with you, I will shout out your business live here on the show. The second way that you can get a shout out is you can do a 30-second commercial between guests. So you can send us a commercial clip. We'll play your commercial on air during the show. And the third way you can get a shout out is to be a guest. So you can come on and be a guest on the show. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can just email support@aliciacouri.com and let us know that you're interested in being a guest, and we will reach back out to you. So, actually, one of our guests today actually just pinged me on LinkedIn and wanted to talk about being a guest on the show. So you can ping me on social media as well if you want to be a guest. So you can email or you can ping me on social media and just sign up to be a guest on the show. So just one other thing I want to share before I bring my guests up, and that would be that if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me. It's alicia360.com. On that website, you can connect with me on all social media platforms and even book time on the show. Ooh, I just saw that I'm hosting the wrong show today. So I will correct that during the show. So now let me introduce my guest. So first up, we have with us today, I really need to fix that. But first up, we have with us today, Steve Taylor. And just stick around and I'll be back with Steve. Welcome back to Small Business Saturday Shout Out. Pay no attention to the banner. Welcome back to Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I am your host, Alicia Couri, and today's guest is Stephen Taylor. So let me tell you about Stephen. Stephen is a former Navy lieutenant and Naval Academy graduate who proudly served afloat and ashore for 7 years following graduation. Realizing his passion and interests were evaluating and exploring the vast opportunities in franchising, after leaving the military, he shared his knowledge by joining the FCC team as a partner. He genuinely enjoys evangelizing the American dream as embodied in franchise and small business ownership while helping clients both visualize and realize the better quality of life. So I am thrilled to welcome to the show, Steve Taylor. Hey, Steve.
Hey, how you doing, Alicia?
I am great. And I love the fact that, your military career, you saw that as a way, once you left the military, to really help other people. And in franchising, you found a passion for franchising to help other people start their business so they can realize the American dream. What is that? What was that inside of you that you wanted to do that for people?
Well, I think first off, it wasn't a direct route, and I think I don't want to get all heavy, but I think for a lot of us, it's not a direct route to where we end up, right? And for me, I when I left the military, I went into technology. I ended up, I had some successes. I had some less than successful business ventures working for other businesses, but I came to the realization that I needed to shift the paradigm, and I purchased a business. Now, as it turned out, I purchased a franchise business, and the thing that attracted me to that franchise business was, it wasn't wrapped up in the personality of the owner. I mean, my accountant had introduced me some business owners, let's say, Frank's Shoe Repair or Joe's Bar and Grill, and it was all wrapped up in Frank and Joe. With a franchise business, you're purchasing a proven business model, and a brand and a way of doing business, some intellectual property. Sometimes it's proprietary processes and products. But the bottom line is you're paying for a proven business model. And, frankly, that's what appealed to me. I said, fast forward, I owned that for 9 years, sold the last chunk off a few months ago. But the thing that appealed to me the most about that was I was able to help people in a real way, people down on their luck, people looking for their first job out of college, or, all sorts of different circumstances. I help people start businesses. And that was really what propelled me into my next life, my next iteration, which is doing that full time, working with people, understanding their goals and helping them develop their goals and objectives, their life's goals. And then backing into, because I do represent 350, almost 400 businesses now, not marketing one business to them, but saying, hey, what, you really like pets, and you like this, and you like this. Have you ever considered X?
Right.
And yeah, so that's kind of a little more longer story, if you will. I will say one thing. I always, when I do introduce businesses, I'm always looking to surprise with one or two, and I'm rarely I rarely miss my mark on that one. So
Nice. So it's really about discovering what that person's really passionate about and aligning them to a business that they can own for themselves, doing the thing they love.
yeah, right, right, and it's not the same. No one's the same,
Yeah.
right? And it's not. So that's the key thing, and it's not necessarily, let's say, going back to the pets. I mean, you may have a pet pool and you love it, but what are the things that you love about it? Oh, I love getting up early in the morning and going for a walk. Well, maybe there are other businesses that you haven't thought about. All you've been thinking about is poodle. Like that old exercise, like whatever you do, don't think about that elephant in the corner. And that's all you can think of.
That's
But
all
what
you
I do is I try and help you kind of break the
expand.
mold a little bit and
Right.
expand your
Expand that.
horizons, but also focusing in on the key parts of that really turn your motor over.
Right. So let me ask you, is franchising expensive? Because I always thought owning a franchise or buying into a franchise was really, really costly.
Sure. And let me give you a super specific sarcastic answer. It depends, right? Um, the yeah, I hate people who answer questions with questions or not directly. So I've got to at least soften it with a little humor, or
Right.
my sense of humor. The thing is, there's a huge range, right?
Hmm.
Um, and some people, one segment, probably the only segment we don't deal with is hotels. And literally, you can spend hundreds of millions of dollars purchasing the rights and building a Hilton hotel, or
Right.
fill in the blanks, right? We don't deal with that, but there are restaurant concepts. I mean, let's be, if you ever been in a Rainforest Cafe. I don't even know if they're franchises, right? But
Hmm.
that's not a cheap build out there.
Right.
Um,
Right. That's a lot of.
but even like McDonald's, I mean, McDonald's, they want someone with $5-10 million in the bank, and
Hmm.
um, a lot of money, right?
Right.
But let me answer your question more directly. The range, like I work with a lot of veterans. There are veterans opportunities you can get into for zero down.
Wow.
Now, frankly, they're not a lot, so you not a lot of options there. But if, let's say, you have $50,000 to invest and a good credit rating and maybe some equity in a house, or that type of thing, there are a lot of options out there, and there are a lot of options for financing.
Hmm.
Um, if your total investment under 100,000, there are a lot of options. I would say our sweet spot is maybe 200,000 to 400,000, somewhere
Hmm.
in there per unit, and you, you know it just depends. So, is it expensive? Well, define expensive.
Define expensive, right? What is
Yeah.
your idea of expensive? But you said the important thing there is that there's financing available and there are options. There are ways that you help the client really find what works best for their
Well,
budget and for their what they enjoy.
right. And and that's part of it. The financing is part of it. We do it's not like it's not a full open financial disclosure type relationship. I'm not asking for that, but I do ask for some very basic information about credit card debt and equity in your house, and what's your current income, what's your net worth, that type of thing.
Hmm.
Uh, but that's to narrow the options down, and And it's a bit of a process sometimes. Um, Probably every other client of mine, I introduce them to some things, and they like one or two, but
Hmm.
um, but then they'll come back and they'll say something like, "Well, Steve, you know what? Maybe if we upped our search range, the money. I have this other account. My grandma just passed away. I didn't want to use this money." Or it's an evolving thing.
Right.
It's not 3 hours on the phone and boom, here you go.
Right.
It's a conversation. It's a relationship, and it really is. That's
Yeah, it's you have to get to know people to understand what it is that they're looking for. And so would you recommend, or is it important to have a business background?
It doesn't hurt. Um,
Hmm.
I would, it's like a little bit ironic. You're you have another guest on that's going to be talking
Yeah.
about sales. I mean, that's a great skill if you have any sales background. Um, I don't. When I started my business, I didn't think I had a great sales background. But guess what? You learn how to do a lot of things
You
when
would
you're
have
owning
to
your
do a lot of things.
business, and you do things like you get comfortable in front of a camera and
Yeah.
in front of a microphone,
Yep.
and
Especially these days.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's more important. Are you coachable? Are
Right.
you the type person that can take instruction, or you start to get red and the hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up? Um,
So
you
let
know,
me ask
yeah,
you this then. Is it something then that you help them through not just the process of that, but do you have other opportunities available to help them be successful in their franchise once they've purchased it?
what I do literally. Well, so first off, it's important. There's no charge to my individual clients for my services. I am compensated like a realtor or a contingency based headhunter. I'm paid by the seller a finder's fee.
Hmm.
So first off, there's no cost to work with me, and by law, the franchisees, or I'm sorry, the franchisors can't charge anything different to people who use a franchise consultant. The value I bring is I put you in a place where I save you time and money by putting you in a position to evaluate multiple opportunities side by side. In other words, in parallel, not one after another. Ooh, I saw a shiny object on the internet. And 6 weeks later, you're figuring out, oh, I don't qualify for that. They're looking for someone, that's a
Right.
Portuguese language expert or, whatever. So we get rid of all that crap. Um, and we spend time together. And not a lot of time. That wouldn't serve your purposes, but couple phone calls, very short. Then I send out some information, a couple surveys. Maybe it takes you a half hour. Maybe if
Hmm.
you've got three fingers, it takes you 45 minutes. Not, and that's nothing to, but the idea is to start a conversation. Our first call, it's just, I have a script, but frankly, I like talking back and forth like you and I are.
Right.
You ask questions. I mean, it's mostly about me getting to know you. I'm going to hit my points, but it's about building the relationship and establishing a rapport. Then I document everything. I send you about a 5-page narrative. What do you call it? A narrative resume, where you've been, where you are today, where you want to go. And
Hmm.
once I get a thumbs up, it's off to the races. We start talking about businesses, specific businesses, investment levels, and then I start making introductions. And again, that's kind of where I come in. I spend a lot of time doing research. Um, my franchisor clients, they expect from me to only introduce people that are
Experienced and
qualified, at
qualified.
least surface qualified. They're interested and they're focused.
So you're a matchmaker. You bring the franchise
Exactly right. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what you do. You bring them together for match made in heaven. So
Ex-
Who would you say this opportunity is really ripe for to jump into a franchise? I want to start a business. I want to leave corporate. I want to leave the job I have. I want to start a business. Who am
So, let me tell you who you're not first. I mean, that's pretty easy. So Elon Musk, if he's listening, and no doubt he is because he is a business person, not a good fit for a franchise. Uh, we're looking for people who who can follow a plan, um, know how to be creative, and can work like it's their money, and it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's, I mean, frankly, not to, but veterans are a great fit. One out of every seven franchise owners is a veteran,
Veteran.
and there's if you had any type of military background, or most people have heard this, have been in the military, but no plan, no war plan survives first contact, and a business plan is much like that. No business plan is pristine after the day you open the doors.
Yeah.
So we need people. Yeah, you need to have those basic business skills, but you need to be able to creative and have the drive and the energy to succeed. And
Awesome.
is it helpful to have a sales background? You bet. Do you need to have an accounting background? Yeah, sure, it'd help, but they're designed. Let me just say one thing. We represent a lot of home service type franchise, like painters, plumbers, that sort of thing. And when you ask them what candidate they don't want, they're like, hey, the painting franchises say, hey, we don't want painters because they're going to have their own process for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We figured this out our own way. Plumbers, no, we don't want a plumber. We want someone who can manage plumbers, can build a business, that type
Right.
of thing. So hopefully that was specific enough. I
That
don't know
was
if I
great.
answered
Yeah,
directly
no,
to
that
any.
was great. That was great. Um, so I want I want you to share with people how can they get in touch with you, and what's the best way to get in touch with you, and when they go there, what can they expect?
Um, I mean, I think if you go to my website, that's a great Steve Taylor franchise expert.com, or Steve at Steve Taylor franchiseexpert.com. I mean, both of those are great ways. LinkedIn, social media. It's kind of like what you're saying in the lead in. Um, Give me a call. If I can't talk, I'll call you back, or we'll figure it out. But you know, the I love talking to people in business, and even if it's not a good fit. I mean, I've had guys that are 21, they just graduated from college. I've got $40,000 in student debt. What do I do? Well, let's talk. And it's like when I got out of the Navy, I don't think I paid for a cup of coffee or paid for a lunch. There are so many people that are willing to give me a lift and give me a hand up and provide advice and that sort of thing. And that's kind of my mentality. This is a great country. We need more business owners that are engaged in their communities and reflect their communities and making decisions with their families and their community's best interests at heart. Any way I can facilitate that, I will.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Steve. I hope you stick around,
I will
and
do
we
so.
will see you. We'll see you again in a few minutes. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So go and connect with Steve. Go to his website. It is stevetaylorfranchiseexpert.com, and check that out. So I just want to remind everyone that Small Business Saturday Shout Out is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. Alicia Couri Inc. is a boutique consulting firm that specializes in the development of audaciously proactive leaders and teams using brain science and people data to get results. To be a guest on any of our shows, please you can email us, at support@aliciacouri.com. So you can just email email us, support@aliciacouri.com. Don't forget, you can leave a comment for a shout out. So if you are watching live, you can leave a comment and I will give you a shout out on the show. But up next, we have we said we're going to talk about franchising and sales. So up next, we're going to talk about sales. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Small Business Saturday Shoutout. I am your host, Alicia Couri. And up next is Tish Times. And you're going to want to stick around to hear all about Tish. So let me tell you who she is. So Tish Times is the founder of the Tish Times Sales Agency. For over 10 years, Tish has been empowering businesses and entrepreneurs to create revenue-generating business connections, shorten the sales cycle, and close sales with ease. Now, who can't use that in their business? Tish and her team help skyrocket revenue for companies with a done-for-you sales solution. Tish Times is an expert at helping companies to attract more leads, maintain a full pipeline, and convert more prospects to clients. Tish's books include Networking is Not a One-Night Stand, The Unstoppable Confidence Networking Playbook, and the Networking and Sales Planner. Tish is the founder of Profit Makers University, a business school that teaches a systematic, sincere, and effective approach to networking and sales to produce lucrative bottom line results. So let us welcome to the show, Tish Times. Hey. Can you hear me, Tish? Hello? I think her audio. Can you hear? I think we're having a little bit of technical challenges with Tish right now.
Hey, hey there.
There you go.
How are you?
Hi. Hi. I think you were freezing a second ago.
Yes, can you not?
I can hear
Yeah.
you now. Yep. We're all good. So what an incredible bio. What led you um, into the sales industry?
Let's see. Is it better? Can you hear me
Oh no,
now?
I can't.
How purpose? I was not intentionally, I was afraid of sales. I didn't want to be in sales at all.
Okay, we are going to try to get Tish back. Okay, let's see. I think she's coming back in. Here we go. Let's try this one. There you go. Now, yay!
Are we good now? Oh my
We're good.
goodness.
Yes.
We're about to have an amazing time because something's trying to stop this from
Trying to
taking
stop
place.
our conversation, but we won't. We will prevail.
Right. So what I was saying is I did not get into sales on purpose. I was tricked into it by a well-meaning manager who saw something in me, and here I am. It's a long story, but just know that it wasn't something I planned on, nothing I was attaining towards, but I'm so grateful that I'm here now.
That's wonderful. And in you developed an academy for sales.
Right.
So how, you went just from really being this awesome salesperson, from what I can gather, to
Mhm.
then teaching sales. What was that transition like?
Well, first, it was very obvious to me that I was not alone in my fear of sales, right? My inability to, I guess, confidently put myself out there to know what to say, to follow
Hmm.
up effectively. And so I felt like it was an obligation to be able to teach people to do it in their businesses, specifically female entrepreneurs. I definitely have some male clients as well, but female entrepreneurs I saw really struggling to have the right language and to have the right rhythm as it pertains to the way that they were selling. So we created this for people who are just like me, who didn't see themselves as sales professionals.
Nice. I love that, because one of the things that I find it is really hard. We talked to Steve earlier about franchising, and
Mhm.
you start a business and then realize, oh, wait a minute, I got to do sales in this business for this
Yes,
business
ma'am.
to actually be a business. And it's hard sometimes, if you don't have a sales background, to actually pick up the phone and call people, or tell people about your business in a confident way.
Right, right. I agree. One of the things that I've had to learn and I love to teach is what we call just the reframe. Instead of thinking I have to make these sales calls, it's like I get to connect with somebody who needs what I have today. Who wants to, what I mean? Who doesn't want to do that? It's like I can go and be a blessing to someone who's already looking for me and shorten their search and help them get what they need. That's where it has to happen. It has to happen in our mindset first. Otherwise, we'll
Hmm.
never pick up the phone.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. And do you find that women especially have a harder time with this?
Yeah. I think as women, we're natural connectors. So we
Hmm.
want to have the conversation, but we just don't want to ask for the money. And that's where the problem is. And I think that's where we find ourselves failing, or at least it seems as though we're failing in business. But we have all these people in our database. We have all these connections. We're doing all of this networking and going to all these conferences, but we're not making any money because we're afraid to ask for the sale. And that has
So,
to stop, has to change.
yeah, afraid to ask for the sell. And that is, can I ask you, is that your superpower, to help flip that mindset?
Yes, it absolutely is to help people to think differently about putting themselves in the place of really, again, not you're not bothering anybody, you're being a blessing to them, and then to give them the language so that they can confidently ask for that sale without feeling salesy, sleazy, inauthentic, all the things that stop you from doing what you're supposed to do anyway.
Right, because that's exactly what it is. So many people say that they don't want to come across sleazy. I don't want to come across, like I'm taking advantage of people, and it really isn't. You're providing a necessary service,
Right.
and like you have a restaurant, and you have your menu, but you're afraid to even ask people to look at the menu to buy something from you. So
Yeah.
why are you opening your doors? Why?
Exactly. Alicia, it seems like people they're already looking. So I love the example I use where there's a little old lady standing on the corner and she's trying to get across the street, but the traffic is going and you know what I mean? She's just really like not strong enough to feel like she can do it on her own and she's looking for someone to help. Are you gonna walk by her and be like, oh, you're not asking me for help, or I don't want to bother you, right? You're gonna go and help her. You saw somebody bleeding on the side of the road and you have band-aids, you would go and give them a band-aid. It's the same thing. People are already looking for you. Go help them. Go do what they need for you to do anyway. Be the solution.
And how much is asking for the sale tied to our own value and worth?
It's everything. And again, I can speak on this topic with authority because I have been through it all. And I know what it feels like to not value myself at the level that I should. I know what it feels like to be afraid to ask for money because I felt like I couldn't afford it, so they can't afford it either, right? And so if
Mhm.
we think differently about ourselves, oh my God, we will be shouting from the rooftop that we are the solution because we understand that we can literally change lives. And if you don't see your business, your service, your product as something that changes people's lives. It changes their health, it changes their finances, it changes their marriage, all of these things people are looking for already. That's where it has to happen. If I don't believe that, I'm going to be hesitant to make the
Mhm.
offer, right? So it has to start with how you see yourself and how you value yourself.
I totally agree. I used to years ago feel I can donate my time. I can give services. Like I can give and donate everything because I I would rather give it to you than
Mhm.
have you pay me for it, right? That was my false mindset because I was afraid to actually ask for the sale, and I was in your boat too, where I felt like, yes, this is a value and yes, they value it, but
Mhm.
I couldn't ask them to pay me anything. I mean, it was no big deal for me to do it. So why
Mhm.
should I ask for money? That just felt
Yeah.
like so
So
I know what you're talking about.
I had a client who, it was a long time ago, but I'll never forget her story. That she went to go have a sales meeting, and she was telling this lady about what she was offering, and she was so animated and excited. And the lady was like, "Yeah," she was ready to write the check. She was like, "How much is it?" Right? And the lady, the person who was making the sale, she began to tell her how much it cost, and her entire body language shifted. Her
Shifted.
her Everything shifted. And the woman told her, I believe she gave her a great gift. She said, I was right there. I was ready to buy, but now I understand that you don't believe in this. And I can't make an investment in something you don't believe in yourself. And it was because she had a disconnect with the way she felt about herself and being able to offer what she did for money and valuing it that high. So she lost that sale, but she
Mhm.
gained a great lesson to help her shift her mindset around being able to ask for the sale.
That's so big. I love that. That she learned the lesson. She didn't get the money, but she learned the lesson.
Yeah, next time she got the money because we worked on it, but she just didn't get it that time
She
though.
didn't get it that time, but she learned through
Right.
Tish how to shift that so that she can get it the next time. Because yeah, there is a disconnect, and because we're energetic beings,
Mm-hmm.
once that energy shifts and we start talking about money in a certain way, and our energy shifts, people will read that
Catch
like
it in a minute.
they catch
Yes,
it in a
yes,
second.
yes. I
And
agree.
you know, and another thing that people do, I guess, as a defense mechanism too, is they keep talking past the sale. Like you have me,
And hello, stop
hello,
talking.
but
Yes.
then they keep talking and they talk
Mhm.
you right out of the sale.
I
What
know.
is that happening there?
Well, it's nervous energy, and if we're not really clear on, again, having the right language and knowing what to say, in an effort to not have to deal with them saying no, it's like I'm just going to keep talking. But it's like knowing to be quiet and trust that you've given them enough information to make a decision. It goes back to us trusting ourselves and
Ooh,
knowing that we've said the right things. They have all the information now. Just shut up and let them make a decision because they will. And the likelihood is they'll make a decision in your favor when you're clear, right? I say clarity is sexy. If you're clear, they'll have what they need to make the right decision. But many times we talk past it and then we shut them down and then they don't buy anything.
yes, I've seen that happen so many times. I've
Yeah.
seen it, I've heard it, people have done it to me. I'm like, you had me and then you lost me.
Yes.
You
Yes.
so, so tell people about this sales personality quiz.
So I think many people don't realize what is stopping them from making more sales. And so when we're clear on what is our sales personality, what is the direction I should be going in the way I'm presenting my information based on who I am naturally, it's a game changer. So I encourage people to take the sales personality quiz, understand where they are in their business, and then once you take it, I'll actually help you debrief it and give you tools to be able to even raise that score a little bit higher so you can close more sales.
Wow. So this is on your website. It's the
Mhm.
sales personality quiz. So go to tishtimes.com, tishtimes.com, and take the sales personality quiz. I think I want to take the sales personality quiz and see where I come out. so
You're probably good.
well, I'm a work in progress, as we all are. I'm a work in progress. So tell us about the academy.
Perfect. So this is the Profit Makers Academy, and it's just that it's really designed for those who are either really not seeing the amount of income in their business or revenue in their business that they really need to be seeing, as well as teaching people how to go from just making revenue to really making profit, because there absolutely is a difference. We start from finding the right clients for your business, right? All the way through how do you connect with them appropriately? How do you have those real confident conversations? How do you close your sales faster so that you're not spending months and months trying to close sales? And then all the way through, once you close that sales, how do you nurture that client so that they keep coming back and keep referring business to you? It's a 12 week session that will teach you everything that you need to know in order to really increase your profit in your business.
Wow. Love that. And for women or
Mostly for women, but we do get a few smart men who come through the
yay!
university as well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. Yes. So, what else can you share with the audience? Is there a particular client that you had that really stood out, that saw tremendous improvement going through this process with you that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I actually want to share about a client who, because many times people come to us because they don't know how to sell or they don't have what they need, and that's a lot of our clientele. But occasionally, people come to us because they have a lot going on and they just don't have a process. They don't have any. They don't know how to really maximize their business so that they can close more sales. And so we had a client who came to us with all these leads, their website, their Facebook group, all of these things were working for them and they were getting lots of leads in, but they were not closing those leads because they didn't have enough people on deck and they didn't have enough time to really, pay attention to those leads and have a process to take them through. And so we worked with that company and we used our sales support system in order to do that, meaning we literally took those leads from them. We helped them create their CRM, craft their processes. We had people who would make those calls on their behalf so that they could focus on their genius zone and we can help them bring money through the doors every day in and day out. And that was phenomenal because they saw, oh my God, we were letting all these dollars just escape through our fingers every single day because they didn't have a sales process. So not only did we teach people through the Profit Makers University, we also have a sales support program where we do the sales for your company and we put the process in place. So when you do have the team, they can take it and run with it.
Wow. 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 So I have Marlena here. She says that she can relate. So, yeah. So having a sales process, people closing those sales, making the phone calls and getting people through the doors and paying the money is so important so you can focus on the things that you need to focus on as a business owner.
Right.
So you know what, Tish, I'm going to put your website up again for people to go check you out.
Thank you.
And I gotta find it. So it's easy. It's Tish Times.
Yes,
So,
Tish Times
but
everywhere.
I want to put it up on the screen. It is tishtimes.com. So check it out. If you have any kind of challenges with sales, if you don't know how to sell and you need to understand how to sell, you can go. If you don't have a sales process, you can go. If you don't know what to say, how to speak, how to actually close the deal, go to Tish Times. If in your mind you're thinking, I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable enough, or I'd rather just give it away because I don't know how to speak to people, call Tish. Go to
Yeah.
tishtimes.com. She can
Yeah.
help you with all those different things when it comes to sales and increasing the profitability of your business. So
Yeah. So, Alicia, if they want to go to the contact tab, they can schedule an appointment right on my calendar.
schedule an appointment with Tish right on her calendar at tishtimes.com and take the sales personality quiz. So at least you do that first. So when you contact her, you know, she knows what your baseline is to start working with you.
There you
Right?
go.
So
Yes.
excellent. Well, Tish, thank you so much. Stick around. Listen, we're going to do something special. So Tish is going to stick around with us. But I'm going to say just hold on a second, Tish, and we'll bring you right back. So that was Tish Times, and she is the sales genius, sales expert extraordinaire. So if you want to find out more, go to tishtimes.com. And like she said, take the sales personality quiz and then click the contact at the top of the website and book on her calendar to get with Tish. So I just want to remind everyone that this show is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc. and produced by Red Carpet CEO. To be a sponsor of any show or to be a guest, please email support@aliciacouri.com. In addition, I want to share with you some other shows that we have. So on Mondays, so this coming Monday, we have Unleash Your Audacious Confidence, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on winwinwomen.tv. So we talk about all things confident. This is for women. Tish is going to be on that show in a few weeks as well, talking about sales confidence. So I can't wait for that to happen. We also have this show on Saturdays, Small Business Saturday Shout Out. And on Wednesday nights, it's Love My Body, Love Myself. So Wednesdays, it's Love My Body, Love Myself at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So join us on Wednesday. We have 2 amazing guests coming up this Wednesday, so you don't want to miss that. Now, we're going to do something really special. I'm going to bring both guests back up, and we're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk a little bit with Steve. Hey, Steve, welcome back. And Tish. And so, Steve, you're muted. So, Steve, I never got a chance to ask you, what is your superpower?
It's unmuting on the fly. My superpower is being able to follow and expand on a plan and work harder than nearly anybody else I know.
From our conversation, I thought your superpower was really being able to nail people and match make them to the right business. Like understand who they are and what it is that they're looking for and just connect them to that right business so that they, it's like a match made in heaven for them. That's what I thought your superpower was.
Now you got me blushing. This isn't sun or anything. No, I think that's part of it. In 2 different, I don't know if this is fair, but just looking at 2 different ways, I think as a business owner, I've never been that build a better mousetrap, have a fantastic idea, earth-shattering breakthrough. That's not me, but I've always been that guy who takes the chocolate cake and adds chocolate chips to make it more chocolatey, for example. Yeah. But the other thing, what I'm doing currently, I think that's accurate. I think it kind of goes back to what I've said. I love surprising people and exposing them to different things they'd never thought of before. And I wouldn't get away with that if I didn't quickly understand what drives people.
Right.
And, that's probably, I probably have a couple superpowers, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. You can have multiple. You can have not just one. So yeah. Tish, let's talk about, because Steve is here, he talks about franchising. How do you see, have you ever worked with a franchisee that is having challenges? They bought into this business and now they don't know what to do with their sales?
Absolutely. Many times, I think even when people open a business traditionally, we're really good technically, right? We know what we are supposed to do as far as the widget we produce or the service, but we don't always know how to offer it. We don't always know how to put it out there so that people will purchase it so that you can actually stay in business. And I see it all the time. I'm sure Steve does as well.
Yeah.
One of the things I coach my clients to do is look at the sales training, especially if they don't have a sales background. Does this franchise, is that part of the franchise deal, right? Do they? And a lot of more mature franchises do offer that. And, but, others don't. And I'm like, that's fine. there are plenty of professional sales trainers that can help you, but keep that in mind. That might be an area you want to hire or invest in immediately. And there are, there are resources out there. And Tish, I think you're probably a great exemplar of one, right?
Right. So now you have, Tish, so you can put that in your back pocket. And when you have a client that doesn't know what to do with sales,
Absolutely.
go to Tish's 12-week program, for sales. So I've always found that, there are great cooks out there that want to start a restaurant because everybody tells them, oh, you're a great cook, you should start a restaurant. And then they start a restaurant and they have no idea what to do with the business side of it because they love to cook and they end up having to do all this other stuff that they just don't know what to do with it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I always, tell people, number one, get the training, get the right training, because there are some trainers, especially sales trainers, who are very, I don't know, some antiquated or some just very, it's only about the numbers, not the relationship. So you got to get the right one. But also surround yourself with the people who have the strengths you don't have. So maybe your strength is, you want to be over that pot stirring things, but you then need to hire a great manager, right? You need to then hire someone who can actually manage the part of the business that's going to allow you to continue to stir that pot.
Yes, absolutely. And that's usually short-sightedness on the part of.
You brought up a great example, and food, and then it's just kind of building on what value I bring to the table. I mean, I was one of those guys. I'm a good cook. I'm a good amateur cook. My mom was in the food business. I don't like to brag about that, but in high school, I was the night manager in the North Fresno Phosphorus Freeze. But I have no desire to go into food as a business. I'm working with a couple clients right now, and I love these concepts because they are not traditional restaurants. But my point, my larger point is uncovering not what people's avocation is, but what their vocation is. Are you a good business person that would operate well in a food environment, or are you a good chef or a good amateur chef, more to the point? And I can balance checkbook if you give me Saturday afternoon off, that type of thing. So not to take the microphone and run with it, but food is a great example of,
that's why so many restaurants fail, because they go into it thinking all they have to do is cook great and they'll be successful. And there's so much to running a business that they just don't understand. So I want to get 3 tips from either one of you. Be of all, Steve, 3 tips of if someone was looking to start a business that they should be thinking about first before they pick up the phone and call you. What are 3 things they should really think about first?
I think you need to be in the mindset that you're going to be an owner, not an employee, and decide what that means to you. That's number 1. Number 2, think about your objectives. And your goals in life. Is your goal in life to replace a salary? Is it to build something to pass on to a family member? Or is it to do something you're really passionate about? I use the example of people who wake up thinking about golf. And, do you want a business where you golf all day? I mean, I'm not sure if that exists yet, but, that might. And the third thing is, do you have the time for it? Do you have the time to investigate? I mean, it is... To work with me, I don't ask for much, but I do ask 3 to 5 hours a week. This isn't make a decision in two hours of reflection and calling your dad and asking him what he thinks. Okay, this is not. There's no pressure here because I don't like pressure sales primarily, but you need reflection. You need to have the time, 3 to 5 hours a week for minimum of 4 to 8 weeks to get to a high confidence solution. So it's not going to happen overnight. So you have the time. That's the third thing. But I can help with all that. Honestly, I just like talking to people about their business ideas, and if there's a fit for me to help, I'm happy to do so.
Awesome. Question to you, Tish. What are 3 things that people need to know to be successful in sales?
First, I think we need to get really clear on who your ideal client really is. I mean, I don't mean just saying, hey, I want to help people who work in this particular industry. I mean, study the market, understand, what their real problem is, not what you think it is, but what they really are looking for, and then figure out how do you meet that need for them. And then don't worry about it at that point, in the sense of, once you know you have the right person in front of you and you have an amazing product or service, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. But if you're speaking to the wrong person all day, you're never going to get anybody to say yes. So
And you're
finding
going to
that
be
ideal client, right? And then number 2, be committed to doing what we call profit producing activities. Sales doesn't happen, to be honest with you, most of us who are making sales in second quarter, it's because of all the work we did first quarter, right? Very seldom are people meeting people on Monday and closing on Wednesday. That does happen sometimes, but normally it's that building that relationship and putting in the effort necessary to really build that trust and get them to feel like you are the right solution for what they need. So being willing to do profit producing activities every single day. And that might mean making phone calls, that might mean networking, that might mean, creating opportunities with other people, partnering with people. There's a variety of things you can be doing, but you got to do those every single day in order to get to the place of having great sales.
Build momentum.
Right. And then 3, and there's a lot more, but 3, follow up. I don't care how great the initial connection was. It might have been great, but the moment you leave a person's presence, you quickly begin to exit their mind, not because they didn't love you or didn't think you were fantastic. Life begins to creep in. And though they needed you in that moment, now they need to go feed that baby, right? Now they need to go put gas in their car or whatever it might be. And you're just not as high on their priority list as you were in front of them. So you have to put a flawless follow-up system in place in order to close more sales.
Can I ask about that? Because that's going to be my final question to you, because we're almost out of time. But the follow-up, there's so many people say, but I don't want to bug them. I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to talk to me about that just for a second.
Yeah, I mean, and I said it earlier, it's like if we will change our mind from I'm not bothering them, I'm blessing them, I'm giving them what they already told you they need you. You already had a conversation with them. They already clicked the button on your website, whatever. So it's not like you're knocking on doors cold, though that might be some, but most of us, we're following up with people that we've already had a conversation with, an email or something. And so putting a system in place to know what your frequency should be, meaning how often. I'm not calling them every day, but if I have a multi-touch system, that means maybe I'll email them one day, maybe I'll send them a text message, maybe I'll send them a physical card in the mail, which is great, by the way, because only 4% of US postal mail is private or is personal. So doing some things that doesn't make it feel like you're, doing this. So now it feels great to you and it feels great to them, and people will respond if you stay in touch. I guarantee it.
I love that. And thank you so much, Steve and Tish, for being on the show today. So please go to their websites, check them out. It is Steve Taylor, franchiseexpert.com. If you're interested in starting a business, and once you've started that business and you need to streamline your sales, check out Tish and go to tishtimes.com and take the sales personality quiz. Thank you both
Thank
so very much.
you.
This was
Thank
Thank
excellent.
you. It was a
All
lot
right.
of fun.
Stick
Absolutely.
around in the green room.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, that was another episode of Small Business Saturday. Shout out. Thank you so much to my guests for joining us. And we won't have a show next week, but we will be back again shortly with another Small Business Saturday shout out. Don't forget, go join us over on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/SBSSO. And on the 29th of this month at 6 p.m., we're having our networking event. So we had to postpone it from February. You'll start seeing flyers go out. Please register for the event so we know how many people are coming. You need to register for it, and it'll be all over my social media next week. So register, come join us on the 29th. I give away prizes. We have fun. We play games. We get to know each other. You know, Tish said it's really important to build relationships. Out of these networking events, people have done collaborations together. They've been on each other's shows. Those who have web shows. There's been so much going on when people get together during our networking events. So I encourage you to come join us. Join the group and you'll get the information. So it's facebook.com/group/SBSSO. So until next time, I will see you around. Enjoy and take care, everybody, and go sell something. Bye.